So I mentioned this momentum and growth earlier. Once more, the momentum and growth are the lifeblood of startups. This is probably in the top 3 secrets to executing well. You want a company to be winning all the time. If you ever take your foot off the gas pedal, things will spiral out of control, snowball downwards. A winning team feels good and keeps winning. A team that hasn't won in a while gets demotivated and keeps losing. So always keep momentum is this prime directive for managing a startup. If I can only tell founders one thing about how to run a company, it would be this. For most software startups, this translates to keep growing. For hardware startups, it translates to don't let your ship date slip. This is what we tell people during YC, and they usually listen and everything is good. What happens after the end of YC is that they get distracted on other things, and then growth slows down. And somehow, after that happens, people start getting unhappy and quitting, and then everything falls apart. It's hard to figure out a growth engine because most companies grow in new ways. But there's this thing about if you build a good product, it will grow. And so getting this product right at the beginning is the best way to not lose momentum later. If you do lose momentum, most founders try to get it back in the wrong way. They give these long speeches about vision for the company, and they try to rally the troops with speeches. But employees in a company where momentum has sagged don't want to hear that. You have to save the vision speeches for when the company is winning. When you're not winning, you just have to get momentum back in small wins. A board member of mine used to say that sales fix everything in a startup. And that is really true. So you figure out where you can get these small wins and you get that done. And then you'll be amazed how all the other problems in a startup disappear. Another thing that you'll notice if you have momentum sag is that everyone starts disagreeing about what to do. Fights come out when a company loses momentum. And so a framework for that I think works is that when there's disagreement among the team about what to do, then you ask your users, and you do whatever your users tell you. And you have to remind people, like, hey, stuff's not working right now. We don't actually hate each other. We just need to get back on track, and everything will work. And if you just call it out, if you just acknowledge that, you'll find that things get way better. To use a Facebook example again, when Facebook's growth slowed in 2008, Mark instituted a growth group. They worked on very small things to make Facebook grow faster. All of these by themselves seemed really small, but they got the curve of Facebook back up. It quickly became the most prestigious group there. Mark has said that it's been one of Facebook's best innovations. According to friends of mine that worked at Facebook at the time, it really turned around the dynamic of the company. And it went from this thing where everyone was feeling bad and momentum was gone, back to a place that was winning. So a good way to keep momentum is to establish an operating rhythm in the company early, where you ship product and launch new features on this regular basis, where you're reviewing metrics every week with the entire company. This is actually one of the best things your board can do for you. Boards add value to business strategy only rarely, but very frequently you can use them as a forcing function to get the company to care about metrics and milestones. One thing that often disrupts momentum and really shouldn't is competitors. Competitors making noise in the press, I think, probably crushes a company's momentum more often than any other external factor. So here's a good rule of thumb. Don't worry about a competitor at all until they're actually beating you with a real shipped product. Press releases are easier to write than code, and that is still easier than making a great product. So remind your company of this, and this is sort of a founder's rule, is not to let the company get down because of the competitors in the press. This great quote from Henry Ford that I love. The competitor to be feared is one who never bothers about you at all, but goes on making his own business better all the time. These are almost never the companies that put out a lot of press releases and that bum people out.